So if you're not satisfied that this person will not offend again, then you won't reprove. You'll disfellowship.
Yes.
And when the person's disfellowshipped, they then can still attend meetings and so on, but under some restriction, is that right?
Under a lot of restrictions.
Yes. And members of the congregation cannot associate with them socially.
Socially or spiritually.
Yes. But the person is still otherwise in the world and can associate with people outside of the church.
Yes.
And you don't take into consideration, do you, how people outside of the church might be kept safe from such a person whom you're not satisfied will not reoffend?
If they were outside the church and they were a close friend, I would tell them.
Well, and how would you know if they're a close friend and they're outside of the church?
No, if they were a close friend of mine.
A close friend of yours?
If I was.
Yes.
If I associated with them.
Well, what about people who are not close friends of yours, others than outside of the church? You don't take any steps, do you, to protect them from this potential reoffending? You don't, do you? You're concerned with the congregation principally, aren't you?
We're concerned with the congregations. We are shepherds of the congregation.
Yes, and you're not a shepherd to those who are not in the congregation.
No.
And as an organisation, in your experience, you don't seek to protect or take care of children who are outside of the congregation.
That's a broad statement.
Well, I can limit it.
Yeah, limit it,
In
please.
your decision on whether or not to disfellowship someone, you don't take consideration of children outside of the congregation.
Do take consideration of them, but what ability have we got to protect every child in Australia?
Well, what you can do is you can report to the child protection authorities.
And that is done in some cases.
But generally it's not done, is it?
No.
It's not done unless there's a legal requirement for it to be done, is there?
That is true.
Jehovah's Witness and a paedophile, the church may not take even a straight-out confession of charge as proof that you've committed a crime. That word confessing the crime is brought into the debate. That was from the Riva congregation, Far North Queensland, in giving evidence. The inquiry heard that one church member abused all four of his daughters and made a confession. But a panel of Jehovah's Witness elders failed to make a finding that any abuse had occurred. Angela Lavoie-Pierre reports.
A woman known to the Commission as BCG was sexually abused by her father when she was 17 years old. She also believes he abused her as a very young child, along with her three sisters. BCG reported the later abuse in 1989, shortly after it happened. After multiple meetings in which BCG was forced to confront her father, known as BCH, a panel of church elders found that the abuse could not be proved under church law. Kevin Bowditch was on the panel.
We believed BCG from the very start. We never believed BCH, I think it's her father. Yes. We never ever believed him. That's why we tried so hard to get him removed from the congregation.
The pedophile BCH was eventually removed from the church because of infidelity in his marriage, but reinstated 3 years later. Elder Kevin Bowditch wasn't able to say why the panel failed to make a finding of sexual abuse.
I'm unsure, but I would rather guess because he was not admitting to it at that time. But I am unsure.
That's in contrast to evidence this morning from fellow elder Dino Ally, who, reading from his own notes made at the time, said that BCH confessed his crimes.
BCH has admitted to all things and also said that whatever BCG has said on molesting was true.
Previously, Mr. Ally has told the Commission that it was impossible for the panel to prove sexual abuse because there was no confession or corroborating witness as required under biblical law. He was asked about the contradiction by Commissioner Peter McClellan.
Yes, that recollection is not correct, is it?
Well, it appears that from the notes that some allegations had been brought out.
Counsel for BCG, Pauline David, pressed the point.
And then you also have a confession, but you choose to disbelieve the confession. Is that the situation?
Well, the confession I don't think was a confession in the sense of saying that he meant it.
Counsel assisting the Commission, Angus Stewart, asked Elder Kevin Bowditch why no one else inside or outside the congregation was told of the danger posed by BCH to the community.
What ability have we got to protect every child in Australia?
What you can do is you can report to the child protection authorities.
And that is done in some cases.
But generally it's not done, is it?
No.
In his opening address, Angus Stewart said the hearing would examine whether some church elders could be criminally liable for the concealment of serious indictable offences. Jason Davies was a legal officer in the Queensland DPP who was responsible for preparing the prosecution file in the case against BCH when it finally reached court. He's told the Commission it's unlikely that any of the elders committed a criminal offence by failing to report the abuse of BCG.
Technically, I don't think that the elders in this case committed any offence at the time by simply failing to report the matter. And, you know, in Queensland there still isn't a general offence of failing to report these type of matters, except in limited circumstances where you might be a mandated reporter in a particular professional occupation, such as teachers, doctors, police officers, child safety officers, etc.
The hearing continues on Friday.
Angela Lavoie-Pierre.